In the shadowy corners of the city where danger lurks and secrets hide, there's one man who dares to tread. His name, Jason King. A detective like no other, armed with an intellect sharper than a razor's edge and a wit as quick as a striking cobra. But his opponents aren't your everyday criminals. They're masterminds of deception, serial killers who play a deadly game of cat and mouse. In a world where the line between good and evil blurs, Jason King stands steadfast. He's not just solving crimes, he's diving into the human psyche, unraveling the twisted knots of depravity. Each case, a new challenge. Each criminal, a new puzzle to solve. In the relentless pursuit of justice, will the hunter become the hunted? Stay tuned as Jason King takes you on a thrilling journey into the heart of darkness.
On a cold, still night, a detective huddles by the warmth of a crackling fire. The flames flicker, casting dancing shadows across the room, mirroring the darkness of the tale about to unfold. This isn't a tale of daring heists or thrilling car chases. No, this is the story of Dorothea Puente, a seemingly harmless elderly woman whose true nature was as cold and dark as the winter's night outside. Dorothea Puente's story begins in the late 1970s in the heart of Sacramento, California. She started a boarding house, offering a roof to those who had none. The homeless, the elderly, the mentally ill, they all found a place in Puente's home. Little did they know they were entering the lair of a predator. As the 1980s rolled in, residents of the boarding house started to disappear. But Puente had a knack for deception. She convinced authorities that these missing individuals had simply moved on or had been placed in care homes. Meanwhile, she continued to cash their social security checks, the motive for her heinous crimes slowly becoming apparent. The years passed and the disappearances continued. Puente's garden, a place of supposed tranquility, became a graveyard. She buried her victims there, their remains hidden beneath the soil. The same hands that pruned roses and tended to marigolds were the hands that ended lives. The truth began to unravel in November of 1988. The police, tipped off by a social worker, arrived at Puente's home. They came looking for a missing tenant, but instead they found disturbed soil in the garden. Beneath the layers of earth, they uncovered the grim reality of Dorothea Puente's boarding house. The bodies of 7 victims were exhumed, their lives claimed by a woman who was supposed to be their caretaker. Puente, however, wasn't about to go down without a fight. As the police started their excavation, she fled. Her flight was short-lived, and after a few days she was captured in Los Angeles. The sweet, elderly lady facade crumbled, revealing the cold-blooded killer underneath. The trial that followed was as chilling as the crime she committed. Evidence was presented, witnesses testified, and the horrifying details of Puente's actions were laid bare. She was found guilty of 3 murders, although the true number of her victims remains uncertain. Convicted, Puente was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. The woman who once ran a boarding house now became a permanent resident of a cell. She spent the rest of her life behind bars, a grim end for a grim life. Dorothea Puente passed away in prison in 2011, taking her secrets and the full extent of her crimes to the grave. Her story serves as a chilling reminder that monsters don't always hide in the shadows. Sometimes they live among us, hidden behind the most unassuming faces. As the detective finishes his tale, the fire burns low, its dying embers matching the somber mood in the room. Outside, the night is silent, as if holding its breath, forever changed by the chilling tale of Dorothea Puente.